What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to review two videos, or maybe one, it depends, from this channel right here. Now, normally I would not review this channel because, well, clear as day, it's not in English, and, well, if I can't understand, I can't really review. Now, I know I could just review subtitles, but normally I wouldn't even do that because I know also the vast majority of you guys listen to my content. You don't actually watch my content. But today, we're going to have to listen to some Portuguese, whatever you want to call it. Because one of the members of my community actually translated two of his videos to English, and they practically begged me to do a review because, well, his takes on language learning are interesting, shall we say. So, well, that's what I'm going to do. Now, if we have a look at his channel right here, you can see that this man is like allergic to shirts. So now I'm feeling compelled to take my own shirt off. And let's see what he says in his info. Something about Elon Musk? Okay, let's jump across to the translator. I traveled to 104 countries, graduated from the same college as Elon Musk, wrote 11 books, speak 9 languages, and played for the national team. Straight up, I'm sensing bullshit. First up, who gives a fuck if you, like, graduated from the same college as Elon Musk? This is like me saying, hey guys, I took short courses at NIDIA. For those who don't know, here's NIDIA, okay? The National Institute of Dramatic Art in Sydney, Australia. It's a world famous acting school. And I've done short courses there. Hell, I know teachers there. And you know who else has graduated from there? Kate Blanchett, freaking Mel Gibson and Judy Davis. So, should I now go to my YouTube description and say, oh, I've done courses at the same college or university as Kate Blanchett and Mel Gibson, mahaha. Now, you might be thinking, hey, you seem to be coming into this quite biased, Evildea. I am. Any man who puts in his thumbnails, unironically, him without a shirt, instantly I feel biased, okay? I'm just going to be legit about that. And the second thing is, he says I speak 9 languages. Generally, my bullshit meter goes off beyond 5, okay? Because at that point, you basically have to dedicate a significant portion of your life to learning languages. So, he doesn't define what speak 9 languages is, so hopefully we shall see in the video itself. Okay, let's just have a quick look at the videos. Yeah, okay, so it looks like this guy's going to be like one of those womanizer Andrew Tate copycat wannabes. I don't know if that's true. Maybe I'm being judgmental early, but we shall see. And I'm feeling more and more compelled to take my shirt off. You know, fuck it, I'm taking my shirt off. Okay, let's watch his first video. Oh, god damn it, he put his shirt on. The one video. The one video he puts his shirt on. Okay, shirt comes back on. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's listen to this.
When it's time to speak English, my voice sounds like this. Quand j'ai besoin de parler.
Ooh, it looks like we're going to get a demo of the languages he speaks, so feel free in the comments section to provide your take on his languages.
Français, je parle avec la bouche comme ça. Oui, oui, monsieur, oui, mais.
Fuck was that? You trying to eat my face like Pac-Man? Jesus Christ, man.
Когда мне нужно говорить по-русски, я говорю такой, вот это голос. Да, конечно. Se io parlo italiano, ho bisogno dei mani così. Senza le mani così, io non posso parlare italiano. E quando la gente de España habla conmigo, mi voz sale un poco más
I'm noticing more and more jump cuts the longer we go through the videos.
fuerte. Pero
Like his Spanish has now already had a fair few jump cuts.
bueno, la vida es así, bueno, da igual. E quando estic a Barcelona, m'agrada moltíssim parar al català. Isso que eu sabia que a Catalunha é livre. Bom, rapaziada, eu sou Ryan Santos, eu moro aqui na Rússia e eu, aos 30 anos de idade, eu falo 7 línguas.
Okay, I really hope he defines what, like, level he speaks these 7 languages at.
Só que é o seguinte, quando eu tinha
Okay, he spoke 6 by 22.
22, eu falava 6. Eu fui aprender russo agora com 29, 30 anos. Quando eu vim parar em Moscou, meio que por assim.
Oh, okay, so he ended up there during quarantine. I'm curious to know if he's still there right now, because obviously that part of the world is a bit of a mess right now. In fact, is there anyone from Russia and Ukraine, or, well, not and Ukraine, but like Russia or Ukraine, who actually watch my videos?
Por causa de quarentena, essas paradas. E aí a galera fica pasma quando um cara diz que fala 7 línguas, tão jovem, e eu tenho uns hacks aí pra você aprender mais rápido.
Okay, so we're going to get some hacks. Cool. So he's going to provide us with methods to learn languages faster.
rápido. Porque, querendo ou não, falar línguas é algo que abre porta pra caraca pra todo mundo.
Yes, we know this. Every single video says it opens opportunities. This is not like something you need to say anymore.
Especialmente o inglês. Eu já falo inglês fluente, mas se eu não falasse inglês, eu trocaria todas as 7 pelo inglês. Então,
Okay, so he'll trade all languages for English, okay?
então, nesse vídeo, eu vou ensinar algumas técnicas que me possibilitaram a ser fluente em...
Bro, 7 languages fluency? That is a hell of a claim. Okay, now I need to see proof of this. I don't know if he'll ever see this video because his channel is substantially larger than mine. But if he does, and you do watch this video, Mr. YouTuber dude, drop a video where you speak all 7 languages. It doesn't have to be public, it could be private. Let us know because I would love to get my community to investigate your level in these different languages. Because fluency is a hell of a bullshit claim to be making if you're not actually fluent in those 7 languages.
E olha só, eu sou fluente em 7 línguas.
Okay, now he's stressing it, okay?
Para eu falar isso em público num canal de 280, quase 300 mil inscritos,
It is a hell of a claim.
eu tenho que ter
Yep, we need proof.
para provar isso. Tudo bem, se você vir aqui falar italiano comigo, vai dar um choque. Por quê? Porque hoje em dia eu só tô acostumado a falar russo, português com o pessoal da minha empresa e inglês com meus amigos.
Are you pulling back on the claim now? Because what fluency means, when you say I speak 7 languages fluently, it means in that moment you can just start speaking it, okay? It doesn't mean you're going, like you may be a tiny bit rusty and in a couple of seconds, you know, you start to catch on. Like, for example, I didn't speak Esperanto for a year at one point, but I was already fluent in this language. And then I went to a meeting one day and I just started speaking. Now, I was rusty for about 10 seconds until it just all came flooding back and I was like, boom, no problem. Because fluency is a different level to, you know, just being intermediate. At an intermediate, you start degrading quite fast. But when you're fluent, it takes a long time to start degrading.
Eu não tenho espaço para muita coisa, mas me coloque em Milão 2 dias, no 3º dia eu tô até te vendendo um apartamento naquela área ali perto do Domo, ali no centro.
Okay, this sounds like a cop-out, okay? I don't believe that you speak Italian fluent now.
De Milão. Técnica 1 não serve para você que tá vendo esse vídeo, serve para
What do you mean it's not for me? Okay, so the first technique's not for us, it's for our children. But I thought you were going to give us hacks. Okay, whatever, I'll just take this as a hack for the children.
os seus filhos. Se você expuser seu filho ou expor seu filho a uma língua estrangeira antes que ele faça 5 anos de idade, ele vai ter uma facilidade gigantesca para aprender línguas no futuro.
I would say not necessarily below 5. In fact, I've noticed, because I did work as a tutor for many, many years, that below the age of 12, they can still very easily pick up the language.
Então, já coloca essa informação na sua cabeça, porque as sinapses cerebrais, elas só fecham depois dos 5 anos de idade.
Okay, I'm going to segue a little bit right now. What he's saying here is perfectly fine. It's not a hack for you and me learning a language. It's fine for, like, obviously teaching your kids. And in fact, it's something I often have to debate about with new parents in Australia. So a common occurrence that's happened over the last 5 to 10 years is that an acquaintance or a friend of my wife, they will have a kid, they're Chinese, so they natively speak Chinese. They've lived here for a while, so they speak English, but obviously they've got an accent type of thing. And as soon as their kid's born, they will instantly only speak English to her. And I'm like, bro, what the hell are you doing? This kid is going to learn English super fast and is going to have like no accent within the next few years. You don't need to teach them English. Just speak Chinese. You'll be gifting them a language that they can use in their future. Like, you're not helping by trying to stumble your way through English, okay?
Essa foi uma vantagem que eu tive porque quando eu tinha 2, 3 anos de idade, querendo ou não, minha família imigrou ilegalmente para os Estados Unidos. Essa aí ninguém conhece.
Okay, so that means you're probably also native English speaker. So you're native Portuguese and you're native English. So that, like, and we've already established that you're not fluent in Italian just based on your own words there alone. So that claim to 7 languages is drastically, like, dropping for what you've actually put effort in for. Now, still, even 4 languages to fluency would be a hell of a task.
Isso não. A história é a seguinte, meu pai, ele era piloto da Varig, era assim.
And also, he introduced the fact that, you know, he illegally immigrated to another country. This is not a hack that you and me can use. Like, I'm learning Mandarin Chinese. I'm intermediate. I don't think illegally immigrating to China is the best of strategies. I've also been curiously interested in Korean at different points and jokingly mentioned that I want to learn the North Korean accent. Pretty sure I don't want to illegally immigrate to North Korea.
Los Angeles, Tóquio. São Paulo, Los Angeles, Tóquio. Só que a Varig mantinha uma equipe em Los Angeles para fazer o voo Los Angeles, Tóquio. E aí...
Okay, this seems more like story time as opposed to hacks that you can actually utilize. I've got nothing wrong with story time videos, but obviously this is not something you can really implement.
E, cara, o que os pilotos faziam? Eles ilegalmente traziam suas famílias como turistas.
So you're promoting now that people do shit illegally. Okay, great. You're literally the reason why so many people in America right now are pissed, okay?
E aí a gente ficava lá, tá? Então quando eu tinha 2, 3 anos de idade, eu tive acesso a um outro idioma. Então meus
Yeah, so basically you're probably native or near native level in English.
cérebro já abriu para pensar em outros códigos. Se você não tem condição de morar em outro lugar, botar teu filho para morar em outro lugar, mano, deixa ele assistir só desenho em outra língua. Sei lá, Marcha e o Urso em russo, ou Bob Esponja em inglês. Já é um...
This can work, but also it doesn't necessarily work. An example is that when I grew up, we had the TV station SBS, which had like lots of international different shows and stuff. And we actually got a lot of content out of China. And I remember watching Monkey King when I was growing up. And it was basically in Mandarin. And I watched it. I think it happened like twice a week or something. Obviously not enough. But I don't remember anything of Mandarin Chinese from that. Like, I learned nothing from that. In fact, I didn't start learning Mandarin Chinese until I was an adult. And hell, I'm not even sure if that was Mandarin Chinese. When I was a kid, it was probably freaking Cantonese for all I know. But my point being here is that if you want to use movies with your kids to learn a language, it can work, but it has to be a lot of content.
2 é estudar em escola americana. Tudo bem, nem todo mundo tem essa oportunidade.
Okay, so now he's talking about immersion schools. Yep, great for your kids. Won't provide any benefit to you and me, so this is kind of pointless.
É caro pra caraca no Brasil. Só que eu tenho que reconhecer que as pouquíssimas pessoas que eu conheço no Brasil que falam com um sotaque perfeito, sem erro de vocabulário, de conjugação, de gramática, são as pessoas da Graded.
I actually worked as a tutor for many years before I transitioned to becoming a programmer and now a game programmer. And I ended up tutoring everyone from, you know, like the very basic level all the way up to basically working as a tutor for the rich. And literally how the rich approach this problem is via immersion. Lots and lots and lots of insane amounts of immersion for their kids. They just hire a tutor almost 24/7 to be around their kid and teach this language to their kid. So they don't have some special source. For those who are curious how the rich do it, there is no special source. They basically just throw money at the problem.
As escolas caras da elite que educam a criança a falar inglês dentro de sala desde criança. Então, o número 2, meio que anda de mãos dadas com o número 1, é realmente se matricular numa escola americana. Número 3, e aí já entra no politicamente incorreto. Eu falo inglês, português, espanhol, catalão, italiano, francês, russo.
So we've got the magic triangle, boys. We've got the Germanics with the Romance and then also the Slavic. Okay.
Mas dessas 7 línguas, só o português eu não aprendi transando.
Wait, what?
Espanhol, catalão, italiano, francês, russo. Arranho no alemão. Mas dessas 7 línguas, só o português eu não aprendi transando.
Okay, I feel like this is going to take a really bad turn. Bro, this is not... Please, no.
Então anota aí. A melhor maneira de você aprender o idioma é com um dicionário de campo.
The bed dictionary. Oh god, here we go. Here we go.
Preferência que esse dicionário de cama não fale a sua língua. E mais ainda, se você quer aprender uma língua que não seja inglês, que o seu dicionário de cama não fale inglês. Porque, vamos dizer assim, eu sou do Brasil e eu tô ficando com uma mina da Rússia. Só que ela fala inglês fluente e eu falo inglês fluente. Ao invés de eu tomar tapa na cara e espremer o cérebro para aprender russo com ela, não. A gente sempre converge pro inglês. Se você for usar alguém como um dicionário de campo...
If I could trade your cock for knowledge. Oh god, this guy's just being vulgar for the sake of being vulgar at this point.
A sua giromba por conhecimento de uma língua, ou a sua negocinho por conhecimento de uma língua, que não haja idioma entre vocês.
Okay. There is so many problems with this statement alone. And here, I'm going to give you an example. I am married to a Chinese woman, okay? I've been with this woman for 15 years. I am not fluent in Mandarin Chinese. And this is very common between couples because what will happen, generally, when you meet someone, let's say from another culture or another language, is you have some communal language already to communicate with them. Now, you may not both be high in that communal language. Let's say you're both non-natives of English, but you use English as the communicative language, which is actually what happens a lot with Esperanto-speaking couples. However, you still already are at a very good point in this language. You can't use this to learn a language. Imagine if I rocked up to Russia without speaking any Russian. I see some hot Russian girl. How am I going to apply the bed dictionary? Am I going to look at her and go, lick, banga banga chung chung, hungry? Like, how's this work? Like, this type of attraction where it's literally based only in the physicality because you can't communicate with these people will never last. It will never last. And you should not be building a relationship with the goal of learning a language. If you learn a language as a result of two people coming together and actually, loving one another, then that's great. That's just a way to fortify, your relationship. Trust me, this is coming from a guy who's been married for 15 years. I know what I'm talking about right now, okay? This is terrible fucking advice.
Comprovado, é verdade. É politicamente correto? É, mas cara, arrumar namorado ou uma namorada de outro país vai abrir muitas portas pra você. Então, vou aproveitar.
Now, I see this all the time where people are like, oh, go get a Korean girlfriend and freaking Japanese girlfriend, whatever, okay? That's assuming that they even want you. But let's say that you do manage to go and get one. It's going to become very evident very quickly that you're basically using them to learn a language. No one likes to be used, okay? Especially if you don't bring anything else to that relationship.
E agradecer a dona Cora.
Additionally, here's another thing, and I'm about to shit on this guy because I swear to God, if he starts listing off women, fuck me. Okay, here's another thing. If you two have a common language, for example, English with me and my wife, and I want to learn Chinese, what will happen, or the majority of the time, and I've seen this with multiple couples with different, language backgrounds, is whatever the strongest language is will become the default language between you two. Okay, now, you can force and work at it to try and get the other person to bend and use whatever other language you want, but it's just a pain in the ass most of the time, and it doesn't really work that great. So you're going to have to commit a lot of time to self-study as it is. And then once you get to an intermediate level, you can start using this language with your partner. Now, your partner will massively respect you for this, at least in most cases. And that will obviously strengthen your relationship. But you can't just be rock up and be like, okay, bitch, teach me Chinese. Very few people have the patience for that. Literally, my wife, when I first started learning Chinese, would just say to me all the time, you're giving me a headache, please just speak English, okay? Because no one wants to be a teacher unless they're already a teacher.
10. A dona Laura, da Catalunha.
Motherfucker, he is too. Okay, so what he's doing now is listing off women like fucking checkboxes. This is such trashy low-end behavior, okay? I had partners before my wife. Now, if you truly love these women, okay, or men, I don't know if you're into men or women. Oh, well, clearly you're women, you're using miss here. Okay, so if you loved these women, and you had some, inkling of respect for them, you would not be just throwing their name out in a fucking YouTube video as a checklist to say, yeah, got Catalonian off that bitch, got Spanish off of her. This is the most disrespectful shit ever. So either this means you were a shit lover and a shit partner, or these women didn't exist. You choose.
Senhora Viviane, 2009 na Itália. Senhora Masha, da Rússia, beijo pra senhora. Senhora Delphine, da França, 2000
These are the shit guys out there who are influencing the youth. These are the ones where you see those young guys, they go online, they see some dude without a t-shirt on, because that's literally the type, and they go, oh, okay, well, this is what I gotta do. I gotta fucking go find me a language partner and just, fuck them for the language. Bro, this is the most trashy behavior ever.
para 2008. E senhora Larissa, de San Diego, 2005, 2006. Beijo para vocês todas. Eu só fica hoje por causa de vocês. Outra maneira de ficar...
So far, we haven't got any hacks that are actually valid.
Ficar fluente numa língua rápido é você imigrar para aquele país e...
Okay, so now we're illegally immigrating. Okay, again, this is not something I can use for Chinese. I'm not going to illegally immigrate to China or North Korea to learn Korean. That would be a fucking terrible idea.
A gente já tem vários casos disso. O próprio Tucano, Andrei Toribio, meu sócio. Depois você pega pra ver o podcast que a gente gravou no Catar, em Doha.
Onde nós estamos, senhor?
Estamos em Doha, no Catar.
Tava eu e ele lá, no shopping de luxo, ele
I've noticed he likes to use these adjectives to like kind of sell up the whole situation. Like, you got the nice flashy watch on, you've got the background of your high-rise apartment, you're talking about luxurious shopping malls. It's all about selling the goods, man. I'm fucking sitting here with an Elmo. You guys might even be curious how the fuck I got an Elmo. In fact, I got this for my wife for her birthday many, many years ago. So basically, she didn't know anything about an Elmo, but I was out shopping one day and I saw this motherfucker sitting in the window and I was like, hell yeah, we're getting this for my wife. I bought that shit, drove home, had it in the passenger seat. You should have seen the people in the cars next to me, man. They're looking and go, what the hell? And then I rocked up home, put this guy in bed, put the sheets over, turned off the lights. My wife came home, from work that day, turned on the lights, had a fucking heart attack as she thought there was some big ass red man in her bed. Best story ever.
ilegalmente aos 18 anos e ter limpado privada.
Okay, so the strategy is illegally immigrate to some country, therefore don't have papers, have to work under the table, probably work cleaning toilets, doing the shitty jobs that most people don't want, and then you're going to learn survival language because you're going to need to barter for your actual payment, and say please don't report me to the government type of shit. So you're going to learn survival language, which means that you're not going to dedicate time to actually learning this language properly, so you're probably going to speak it most likely like your native language. Like, you're going to basically apply the phonetics of your native language to this language as fast as possible just so you can speak this language. You're not going to have time to really implement the strategy here because you're trying to survive.
Adicionou muita humildade para ele.
Made him very humble, huh? Well, his humbleness did not rub off on you, my man.
E ajudou ele a aprender uma língua muito mais rápido que uma pessoa que fica 4, 5 meses indo pro cursinho 2, 3 vezes.
Well, obviously, I've never applied the illegal immigrant strategy, so I can't say that it's 2 to 3 times faster than learning in a classroom environment. And I often say a classroom environment's not the best way to learn a language because generally the class is slowed down to the slowest member of the class and you constantly get questions from the slowest members of the class. And if you're actually committed, you will generally outpace the class overall. So some form of self-study or with tutors is a much better method.
Irmão e irmã, você nunca vai aprender inglês em cursinho. É a maior.
Okay, so he finally got something right. Yes, you're not going to learn a language exclusively in school. You're going to need external input of some sort.
Puxa de caça-níquel que tem, curso de esquina. Você não vai aprender inglês em cursinho. Não vai. Bota na minha frente uma pessoa que fala inglês e aprendeu em cursinho e bota ela pra debater comigo. Se ela falar melhor...
I'm curious now where Metatron learned his English. Because I remember this guy's English at the beginning, and Metatron sounds native to me. In fact, the first time I watched Metatron, I actually assumed he was a native, because I'm from Australia. I just assumed he was a native in some other English-speaking part of the world, until I found out he wasn't. And I was like, holy shit, this guy's English is good. So I should bring Metatron here.
Eu dou meu...
Sorry, Metatron. Okay. I take that back. Maybe we don't bring Metatron in, otherwise you're going to be doing some butt fucking.
Sou um cara muito macho, eu só aposto o meu currículo quando eu tenho muita certeza disso.
Oh god, this is degrading so badly, my man.
Inglês ou qualquer outra língua se aprende com imersão. Você ficando imerso nessa língua. Não você...
Immersion doesn't work unless you make it work. Okay, you still need to actively study and try learn the language. A great example is my grandma, okay? When she came to Australia, she was, I think, probably in her late 20s or 30s. Anyway, she spoke German natively, didn't speak a word of English, immigrated here, and never learnt a word of English, okay? Sorry if I kicked the camera, but she never learnt a word of English because what she did is she went and found Germans, hung out with Germans, and basically avoided all contact with the English world until her daughter, my mum, got old enough and could basically translate. So just immersing yourself in the language is not that way to learn a language. You still have to put in a shit ton of effort.
Vez por por semana aprender com alguém que não fala inglês direito. Para pensar, se a sua professora de inglês do seu cursinho soubesse inglês, ela estaria trabalhando no
Oh, okay, here we go. If they were actually good at English, they'd be working at some multinational company, okay? Making 2 or 3 times as much money, okay?
2, 3 vezes mais, porque, cara, o inglês abre muita porta. Se você fala um inglês fluente...
Well, this is a load of shit. Do you know how I know this is a load of shit? There is a bunch of native English speakers who do not work at large, multi-frickin' national companies making a shit ton of money. You need to bring a lot more to the table than just your language skills.
Você não vai ganhar R$1.000, R$2.000 por mês dando aula em curso de inglês. Seu inglês é fluente, cara, eu consigo um negócio para você num fundo de investimento
Bullshit.
gringo ou numa empresa de
More bullshit.
petróleo que precisa de alguém que fale, negocie e venda.
Okay, so now you're saying if someone can speak, negotiate, and sell. Okay, negotiate and sell is a skill set. It's something you work at, okay? People spend their entire careers becoming good negotiators and good salesmen. Not everyone is a salesman. Not everyone is a negotiator. So you're just assuming that everyone can do this. Now, these are skills that you can learn. But again, this is an additional skill that you need to go out and learn. I have learned to speak.
Então, já começa por aí. O único cursinho que eu realmente recomendo é o curso inglês.
Okay, so we're going to be recommending some language course from that guy I think you mentioned earlier.
Em 12 semanas, do Andrei Toribio. E por último...
Which is also funny when you think about it. Why are you recommending a language course from some guy when you already said if they were good at English, they'd be working at some multinational company? Aren't you therefore saying that this guy's shit at English?
Aprender língua rápido, especialmente para as mulheres aí, tá? Mulheres abaixo
Oh God, here we go.
de 30 anos. É você entrando em programa de au pair. Você indo para Estados Unidos, indo para Inglaterra, indo para Austrália.
That is not the Australian flag, okay? That is the New Zealand flag. However, I guess technically, in some ways, that could possibly be the Australian flag. And I'm going to have some fun with my New Zealand friends right now, and this is clearly not what he means, okay? So, this is the New Zealand flag, and New Zealand is a separate country to Australia. However, New Zealand almost became part of Australia. Okay, when Australia was founded, we were basically founded from a bunch of different states, okay? But New Zealand was also a colony. And if you check the Australian Constitution, we literally list New Zealand in there. So we can take ownership, bitches. Okay, I had to step away for a second because it was starting to get really dark in here, so let's continue.
Cuidar de criança. Isso aí, cuidar de criança, ser babá.
Ai, mas eu tenho mestrado. Mas eu já trabalhei muito na...
Okay, so now what he's doing, and mockingly saying it at the same time, is that women, if you're under the age of 30, drop your master's degrees, move to other countries, become a babysitter, and you'll somehow magically learn English a lot better doing that. Well, first up, I'm going to tell you right now, in Australia, basically no one hires a babysitter except for like the super duper rich. And that's pretty rare. And they usually hire a babysitter from their own community. So the few rich Chinese families that I have tutored for, when they did have a babysitter here, it was usually someone who was Chinese. So this is not like a very effective method. Now, realistically, what I think is happening right now is he doesn't like the idea of women being educated, which if you're very like self-conscious about yourself, I understand. It's a very scary thing, someone knowing more than you, especially someone who is a potential partner. But I'll tell you right now, I hate being with people who are dumber than me. So the fact that my wife is more educated in certain areas of life than me makes me feel like I'm actually learning something from her. So I don't know where he's trying to go with this. We know you're not going to learn English by cleaning the ass of some random baby.
Universidade boa.
Você não fala inglês, então, tipo, você é um zero à esquerda.
You're a piece of shit for not speaking English. Jesus Christ.
Dê passo para trás, vai ser babá nos Estados Unidos e você vai aprender muito mais rápido que qualquer curso. Por quê? Melhor do que...
And in fact, what he was saying there to women, I pretty much guarantee he's saying that not for women, he's saying it for like those types of men that follow him. Because what fucking woman out there in her right mind would follow this trash?
errado, ela te corrige. Então, se eu voltasse no tempo, se eu fosse mulher e eu pudesse voltar no tempo, eu entraria nesse programa aí de cuidar de criança, limpar o de criança gringa americana. Bom, vou parar por aqui, beleza? Papi, você vai...
Oh, thank God we fucking stopped there. That was enough. Okay, normally what would happen is at this point in the video, I would say something funny, and then I'd threaten you all, and then we would move on with our lives. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I'll see you all in the next video.